All right. Our last game I want to preview here is our Peacock game. Late night. You're going to want to stay up for it. I think the buzz for this game has only increased after what we saw last week. We saw Oregon look like fine, but not great. They dinked and dunked. They had a bunch of yardage, Dylan Gabriel, but like it was close. It was like we were kind of like, hey, is Idaho an upset alert? Like what's happening in this game? So unimpressive week 1 win over Idaho. And then Boise State wins a pretty crazy game. And Ashton Jeanty, who already has a full-fledged Heisman campaign, which he should, runs for over 200 yards and 6 touchdowns. So this is the matchup. You have one team coming off a high with a Heisman contender, who Dan Lanning has said, like, in his time at Oregon, he has not faced a running back like this.
Yep.
And Oregon coming off of a impressive, a little bit of a sleepwalking win in week 1. Like, this is a fascinating time for both of these teams to get each other.
I'm struggling with this game. What I saw from Oregon's offensive line was troubling on Saturday. Like, I mean, when they needed to just get a couple yards at times, they couldn't get it. They were counting on running backs to just kind of like, step out of tackles early in the down to try to break something. Dylan Gabriel got hit a little bit. The pocket was collapsing. I think he was throwing on the move way too much. He's really good, by the way. I know we've talked about that. But I need to see a much better Oregon offensive line, or else I'm going to start asking a few more questions about this team. To your point, Ashton Jeanty, like it's going to be a really interesting game plan, because we know Dan Lanning is going to be like, this guy is not going to make a Heisman case off of us. And so I'm curious to see what they do defensively in order to stop him. Ultimately, I think 19.5 is a little bit too big based off of the way I feel about Oregon's offense right now. But I think they still win pretty easily.
I think that number is too big also. I think that it's overreacting to last week. In the struggles that we saw from Oregon. But I also think that Vegas usually does know things. But I'm still going to say, I would pick Boise with the points to keep it close, especially if they are able to run the ball somewhat effectively. That's going to eat clock, shorten the game. You want to limit possessions, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see. But I would like to see more from Oregon in the red zone for sure. I would like to see more touchdowns this week.
Yeah.